Hi, Gavin.
Hi, John.
How you doing?
But better?
Well, that's understandable. I got the doctor's notes, and I know that the diagnosis didn't turn out as well as we had hoped, and I know you have a lot on your plate. So I just want to say thanks for being here. I know it's hard for you. You've been telling me that it's been hard for you and how worried you were. But you're here. So anything you want to kind of start off with? I noticed that you brought somebody with you.
Brought Holly today.
You did bring Holly with you. Hi, Holly.
Hi.
How are you?
Last week. I'm sad. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Gavin.
Last week we kind of talked about depending on how the diagnosis was this week and the results of that I could maybe bring Holly in because we're not really getting along these days. I just feel like she doesn't understand what I'm going through, and because of that, it's making things really difficult for us right now. Like I love her and it sucks, and I hate that I'm gonna leave this world without her, and she's gonna have to walk through it without me. But I mean, it's not like I have a choice in this.
No, but where are you today right now with this? I just want to make sure that you're strong enough to make it through the session. If we need to take a little time, if you need to do some reflective work in your journal like we've been working on, or you feel like talking a little bit, or...
Yeah, we can, I mean, whenever you're ready. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Whatever you think is best.
What about you, Holly? I'm going to turn it to you. This has got to be hard for everybody, but I have to imagine it's pretty difficult for you. Do you want to share a little bit about that? Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me?
I'm sad, I'm mad sometimes.
Yeah.
I just,
Do you mind if I write some of this down just to kind of keep track of this?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Frustrated on how great our relationship was, and now she's sick and dying, and we're not living the life that we used to. She's just wanted to stay home in bed and not doing anything and not living her life. I mean, she's gonna be out of my life soon, but no, doesn't want to do anything, and it's frustrating.
I heard you use words like sad and mad and frustrated, and I have to imagine that those are pretty prevalent for you, that you're all weighing pretty heavily now. So I just want to say to you too, it's got to be hard. I haven't ever been in your position before, but I have lost people close to me, and I know how hard that was when it happened to me. So going through this is going to be a challenge. I hope that you are finding some support for yourself, and that if you want to spend a few minutes maybe at the end of the session, I do have some resources I'd love to kind of provide for you, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, I probably should take up.
Yeah. We can talk about that at the end. We want to stay focused here.
Okay.
One thing I heard you say that I kind of want to touch base on, you used the past tense a lot in that sentence. Was, had, she's not going to be there, I am going to lose her, we're not doing what we used to do. All of these things are sort of periods on the ends of the sentences. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like you're struggling a little bit. Do you want to kind of help me understand where the struggle is?
Well, how we were, we were living our life, we would go out, do activities, events. I mean, just see how our Facebook page looked. I mean, we had it filled with pictures, fun stuff to do, right?
Yeah.
We had good times. And now she's dying and she's gonna leave me, and I mean, I guess I should understand that she's gonna need rest and stay home, but I'm thinking, live your life. Like, can we at least enjoy the time that you are here? Can we enjoy that? And we're not doing it. We're just staying at home.
So it sounds to me like your struggle lies somewhere in between, Gabby, getting out there and having things be like they used to be, where you two were going out and doing things and going out and having some fun and filling up your Facebook page and creating all these beautiful memories, and that you're really struggling with the limitation of the time that Gabby has left.
Yeah.
You want that time to be as joyful, as memorable, excuse me, as fun as it used to be. And it sounds to me like you said that part of you understands that it can't, but that's what you want. Am I hearing you right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, she's gonna leave me. I'm not gonna, like you said, the memory.
Mhm.
I want the lasting memory of enjoying the last few months we have.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna remember her as being sick and just dying on her bed. I don't want to think of that.
No, I think that's, we all know that it's going to be part of the reality, but I think there's other ways around it. I think there's so much more to Gabby. In all of the years you've been together, it's been what, 5 or 6 years now?
Yeah.
And in all of those years, there's a lot more to Gabby than just how she is at this current moment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or what she's going to be like physically in a month or so. There's a lot more to her.
Yeah. I mean, we would go paintball. We would go hiking. We would, paint and do parades. I mean,
So much.
yeah. And
And-
it's gone. Already gone, and she's not even gone. She's still here, but
Already gone.
already
So
gone.
you're sort of seeing things as, like we said, just done, kind of feeling like Gabby doesn't want to participate anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Gabby, you heard Holly say a lot of things, and I was watching your face, and I saw, your eyes sort of blinking back a couple of tears there. I saw some looks on your face that seemed kind of sad, if I could say so. You heard her say a lot of things, express a lot of what sounds like deep frustration. Is there anything you want to add to what she said?
I mean, obviously, I don't want to die, and I feel like she's often saying, "Oh, you're gonna leave me. You're gonna leave me," as if I have a choice in the matter. Nobody asked for this. I definitely didn't. And I get that that's frustrating and it's scary for her, because I think every day I'm gonna leave her, and I feel like, I don't know, maybe I just don't want to do these things anymore because I'm prepping her for the reality of what life is like without me. I mean, no, I'm not going to be around to go paintballing and paint. And to be quite honest, I don't want to do it now either. I just want to be home. I just want to enjoy the comfort of my bed and the quiet and the mundane things that I didn't take the time to enjoy before.
So instead of being out there, your version of comfort and your version of security and your version of quality time is taking time to appreciate what you never could. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Well, Gabby, thank you so much for sharing that. It sounds to me like, if I could say, that the both of you really want the same thing. You do.
Yeah.
What do you think that is? What do you think that you're hearing from one another?
To enjoy the time we have left.
To enjoy the time we have left. And it sounds to me like the acceptance is there that, I mean, in reality, Gabby, the time's sort of coming to an end, and there's going to come a point where you're going to get very sick, and it sounds like Holly is really just wants those to be filled with memories, but the kinds of memories that you're having are differing. I would really like to try to work with you two a little bit on becoming unstuck. I feel like you're headed in the same direction, but I feel like there's a little bit of a barrier in the way that you're looking at the situation. Again, there's a lot of extraneous things now to be dealt with. Gabby's got a lot of needs right now, and in reality it's going to be mostly about Gabby, isn't it? So we have to find the way to help you both see how to continue to appreciate each other when one person has a high amount of need. Because in relationships, sometimes it's like that, where, people say relationships are 50-50, but sometimes relationships are 90-10. And if one person can only do 10%, the other person's got to do 90. And that can be really, really hard. And Holly, I think you're starting to feel some of the strain of that.
Yeah, all the housework and taking care of her. I
Yeah.
mean, am I gonna have to clean up when you go to the bathroom? Like, how far is this going? And then you're talking about prepping me? Prepping me for death is just staying at home in bed? I mean, can you prep me when you're already dead? Not now you're prepping me?
I feel like you are often expressing that you want me, you're carrying the load of the house and you're carrying the load of this, but what happens when I'm gone? You're going to be carrying it anyways. And I'm sorry that I can't physically do it myself. If it's a burden, then I can move back in with my mother.
Gabby, do me a favor. You're making a lot of strong statements, and I'm most interested in you telling me what's fueling those. What emotion are you feeling right now? Where are you right now?
I feel anger.
Anger. What else?
Sadness.
Sadness. Anything else?
I don't know. Am I reading a certain way?
Well, I'm just asking you how you feel.
I think just anger and sadness.
Okay. What about you, Holly? Where are you right now?
Same.
Same?
Yeah, I'm
So you're-
frustrated.
Mhm.
The housework, the not doing anything, not having fun, not laughing. We used to laugh. I feel like we don't even have humor in the house. Just everything's all about death. Death at the front door. Death when I go to bed. Death when
So
I wake up.
It's sort of 24/7 these days. You're
Yeah.
looking for a little bit of reprieve.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to take the time to do a little exercise that I'm thinking might help you understand where each other is a little bit more. Can we take some time to do that? Do we need a break before this, or are we good to continue?
I'm okay.
Where are you, Holly? You're good? Okay. Why don't we take a moment, and I'm just going to write down one acronym for you, okay? And we're going to put a positive spin on this as possible. And that word is live.
Huh.
L-I-V-E. This is not a cruel joke.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
No.
I'm not in the mood for joking.
No,
these
I'm not
days.
joking. I'm serious. The word is live. And Gabby, I want to start off by telling you that this is not a mandate to tell you to run out and live your life or to put yourself out there in a way that you just can't right now. And this is not a reminder that life is going to come to an end. Live stands for 4 things that I think are important. 4 things that I'm going to ask each of you to do for one another in your respective situations. Maybe to help you see through some of that fog that's settling between the two of you, okay?
Mhm.
L stands for
Listen.
listen. Yeah. I think that you both are saying a lot of things, and I think that you both are sending some very strong messages. And I think what's happening is that your pain and your sadness and your regret and your anger, and perhaps you're feeling a little cheated, all of these feelings that you're having are simply standing in the way of you actually hearing that message that the other person's trying to give you. You wouldn't have made it all these years without being able to listen to one another. You know, you have very different careers. You, high-powered at that magazine for millennials that you've been at, and I know you had to give that up recently, but
Yeah.
you were out there in the world, you were covering stories, you're out there representing Instagram and all of those things that you do.
I'm so proud of you.
Right. And I mean, from what I've come to understand from Gabby, you've got reason to be proud too. Look at you. Law school, junior partner at your firm already. That's a lot of high pressure, but I will tell you, and I don't normally disclose much about sessions like this, but I understand Gabby's limitations on disclosure and stuff. She's very proud of you for all of the work, and in all of the time that I've met with Gabby, she's never once said she's felt cheated or neglected or abandoned or anything less. She's always said, you know what, Holly loves me, she supports me, and she lets me be me.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
That's
Even though
everything.
I had to, while you were in law school and working those late nights and long hours and 24 hours, I was picking up the slack and doing things by myself, and I never felt like I needed more help.
So we're gonna capitalize on that. We're gonna go back to that. I want to tap into those feelings that you have for each other. Gabby's told me how she feels about you and how she feels because of you. And I believe that your relationship is strong and solid, and it can survive this. And what I mean is that I don't believe that your relationship will change. We know that's inevitable, but the very nature, the feelings you have for one another don't have to. So we're just going to practice a little bit of listening first, okay? The I stands for identify. So for when you talk to one another, I really want you to try to identify not only what your partner is saying, but maybe how they're feeling. So you're listening to their words, but you're also listening to their feelings. You're listening to how they're saying it. You're listening to what might be driving what they're saying. Okay? The next one. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of a dry throat.
Okay.
This is a big one in therapy and without. Validate. You each need to be heard, and you each need the other person to hear you. So validation is big. Validation, something simple as, you know what, I hear you, I feel you, I understand, all of these things. Letting your partner know that you're there for them. If you can't be there even socially, that you're at least there for them emotionally. That you still are listening, that they're still important, that Holly is not lost in the storm of your diagnosis, and that Gabby is not yet gone. And I think it's important that you both work with one another to help each other understand that you're still there for one another. You still are, you know? And the last one, E for empathize. Do you know what empathy means, Holly?
Better feelings and understanding, sympathizing.
Yeah, sympathizing and empathizing are quite close. Empathizing is really about putting yourself as much as possible into Gabby's shoes. If it's closing your eyes for a moment and imagining what it must be like to be her, and dealing with all of this, and trying to understand when she says, you know what, Holly, I just can't, and understanding, and then working on accepting that, on understanding that. So this is going to be continual. This is going to be something that I think you may need to practice constantly, but with your permission, I'd like to sort of lay this out a little bit in here so that you can take it home with you. Is that okay
I
with
would
you?
like that, because I don't think I could do it at home without practicing it first.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to understand it more.
All right. So the first part of live, the L is what? Tell me.
Listen.
Listen, and that means you need to,
Listen to each other.
yeah, listen to each other.
Hear what they're saying.
So no distractions. Let's try to clear our minds a little bit. Why don't we close our eyes for a second? Maybe a couple deep breaths to really settle yourself in. Bring yourself into the moment. And getting ready to listen. Putting aside your worries, putting aside your concerns. And turning inward and finding the love and respect you have for each other.
Physically turn inward.
You can physically
Sorry,
turn.
that's what I was going to do.
Go
I was
ahead.
like, all right, I'm going to turn
That's
it.
fine.
Ollie.
So you're
Sorry.
turning inward. No, it's good to see you smile.
Yeah,
It's good to see you smile. Good
Yeah,
way to
facing
follow
me.
directions. Good for you. So tap into that love that you have for one another, and really just spend a minute. It will only take a minute. Gabby, would you like to go first, or would you like to listen first?
I would like to listen first.
Listen?
Yeah.
Okay, so Holly, as best you can, as direct as you can, as non-judgmental, just communicating with a woman you love. Tell her what's on your mind.
It's on my mind that I already feel like you're gone. You're acting like you're gone. You're acting like you're dead. I feel like I'm already there. I'm already. When's the funeral? I'm just sad. I'm angry. I'm angry because I can't do anything about it. I wish I could cure you. I can't. I'm sad because we can't. I don't have any more time with you. I'm losing time with you. And the time that we do have, we're spending it at home doing nothing. And you're being mopey around the house. It's frustrating.
I understand.
Holly, who were you blaming just then? I heard a lot of blame in your voice. Who were you blaming just then? You were blaming Gabby. Do you think that's fair to Gabby? No.
Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, you don't mean to.
I didn't think I would be blaming you.
It's okay. It's
Is
not
it-
like I expected to die. We didn't know how to handle this situation. That's why we're here.
It's not like you wanted the answer.
No, I didn't ask for it. That's for sure.
It's true. Gabby,
Yeah.
what did you hear Holly say to you?
I heard Holly tell me she's frustrated. Tell me that she feels like we're not doing enough to. If I were to read between the lines, and if this was a book, I would say that Holly's character is mad at me, mad at the situation. I'm just the face of it. She's not really mad at me, because she wants to make more of what's left, and I understand that. I guess my feelings just not mutual right now.
So why don't you tell Holly how you feel? Tell her what's on your mind.
Holly, I feel like I don't want to leave the house. I want to enjoy the moments we have together. I often find that I'm moping because you're not enjoying the time that I would like to spend with you at home. I feel guilty that you have to pick up all the slack where I cannot help. And I feel guilty that I have to put you through this. And I feel upset that, I'm not giving you what you need.
And what do you think she needs?
More excitement and new things in life. I mean, I understand I guess I can empathize with what Holly is saying. I mean, we live this exciting, adventurous, crazy life, and we never took time to slow down and just sit at home, which is why I want to enjoy that as much as how many times can you go skydiving? Really? I mean, how many times can we play paintball?
So let me just circle back on something you said really quick. You said Holly needs something new and exciting, and how you live this wonderful action-filled life, and now you're just sort of at home and you're not really doing anything. Think about how hard that must be for Holly.
Yeah.
Not only has your entire exciting life, this life that you've built together and that you both love, come to the sudden screeching halt, but it comes to a sudden screeching halt, my dear, at the expense of you. So that's got to weigh pretty heavy on Holly, I would think.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Holly, anything you want to add to that before we move on?
Yeah, well, oh no, I mean, I want to talk about what she said.
Whatever you want to talk about.
Well, you talking about how you feel guilty.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry you would feel that way.
It's okay. I'm sorry that you are frustrated. I mean, this isn't a situation that either of us asked for. So, I mean, that's, like I said, that's why we're here, because we don't know how to properly, I guess, handle it.
It's a change. We've never had a relationship like
Yeah.
this. Now we're being homebodies, and we're never like that.
No, I guess not.
I can't adjust to the transition. I just
Too much change at one time. I
yeah.
guess.
And you know, I mean, I know I say I was frustrating doing the housework, but when you say you feel guilty about it, I'm thinking I should be happy to help you out. I should be willing to take care of you and
No, because that
we
was
took
never.
vows.
Yeah, but
we
that
took-
was never our dynamic before.
I know, but I took the vow and said in sickness and health I was gonna take care of you, and I'm not, maybe. Do you feel like I'm even taking care of you?
Yeah. I mean, I just feel guilty that I can't do more.
I won't feel guilty of taking.
You shouldn't feel sorry.
You have both done a wonderful job with the I and the V. I heard lots of identifying the feelings and lots of validation there, but let me just be a little more specific. I heard lots of things, and I know you were talking heart to heart right there. I felt it. I felt your connection. Can you tell me, can you give me words to describe how Gabby's feeling about all of this? Where is Gabby?
Feeling upset, guilty, and you know, she mentioned earlier how she wants to enjoy the time of being together, rather because you mentioned how again, like yeah, I said you were being mopey, but then you're looking at it as no, I want to enjoy the rest of the time, and I'm not, but you're being mopey because I'm not enjoying it, so it's like. Okay,
Vicious
let's get on the
cycle.
same page.
Yeah, it's
I
just a vicious cycle that we're
Yeah.
in.
So, Gabby, tell me the same thing about Holly.
I hear from her original statement, I hear frustration, sadness, fear, maybe a little bit scared for what's going to happen. Through talking, I definitely feel like Holly is learning to empathize with the situation and at least is willing to try and understand what I'm going through.
You know what, Gabby, you're right. And you told me that. But I think if you're going to validate, which is the next step, I think that Holly needs to hear that from you.
Holly, I understand that you're frustrated and scared and sad, but I appreciate that you are willing to try and understand what I'm going through and be patient with me during this time.
I'll try to be more patient.
No, you have.
I have horrible patience.
You have been, so I was thanking you for being patient.
And Holly, can you validate Gabby in her position? Because I think it's important that as she's reaching out and saying she understands why you feel that way and how you've come to feel that way, that you return that sentiment to her.
I'm glad that you're seeing my view of me being frustrated with the housework and feel guilty about it. Back to that again. But seeing how frustrated I am about our relationship not being the way it was, and understanding that it's I want that back, but I need to look at it as enjoying the rest of the time that we do have, and if it means we're sitting on the couch watching
Breaking Bad.
That's Breaking Bad. I was gonna say Housewives.
I say Real Housewives.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
do love that show.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, get nuts on that.
I think you two are wonderful. I think you did an amazing job validating one another. I think you heard one another. And I think that in this moment where we are right now, you both have an understanding a glimpse, a beginning of where each other is in this. And I think it's important for you to hold on to that. And please understand that this process is going to be continual, that things are going to change. And Holly, I need to tell you right now that with Gabby's permission, any session that she's comfortable with you attending, I extend you the welcome.
Really?
I do.
Okay.
And if this is about spending time with Gabby and processing feelings with Gabby, if it's going to help the two of you, remain strong, because there's going to come a point where you're going to be doing 95%, and then it's going to move to 96 and 97. And as we move towards that, it's important that you have support too. Okay? Eventually I'd like to start talking to you about things that we can do to perhaps lessen some of that burden, but I think that right now it's important for us to finish the process. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
You were saying to do this segment maybe like every day we should talk?
As often as you feel. I don't want it to become routine.
Yeah.
But I do want it to become a tool that you can use. So in other words, you're not sitting down after Housewives every day and doing the live. But I feel like if you had this somewhere nearby,
Maybe
and
fridge.
you were having some feelings, the fridge is a great place, and you were having some feelings or you wanted to talk, this would just be a great reminder for you to work on. Empathize. I would like you to try something that might be hard for you, and it's okay if you get overwhelmed, we can stop, right? And afterwards we'll do a grounding exercise, and it might be hard for you, and we'll do grounding exercise after that, but I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to lift yourself up out of your body, and I want you to put yourself down into the body, into the life, into the mind of your partner. So Gabby, in this moment, you're putting yourself in Holly's shoes. Holly, at this moment, you're becoming Gabby. And let's just sit with that a moment. And I want you to think about, what must this person be feeling? What is she thinking? What is she facing? And then look around in your mind. Holly, as Gabby, is Holly anywhere nearby?
Wait, me?
So Gabby,
Yeah.
as you're imagining yourself in Holly's position,
Mm-hmm.
where is Gabby? How close are you two to each other in your
Very
mind's
close.
eye? Are you
Close.
there for one another?
Yeah.
Can you see each other?
Yeah.
Can you feel the weight of their struggles?
Yeah.
Can you feel the burden
Yeah.
of their struggles?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see the person next to you wanting to be there for you?
Yeah.
Wanting to take that pain away if they could? Wanting to support and to love and to cherish, for
Mhm.
better or for worse, in sickness and in health, till death do you part?
Yeah.
Open your eyes and look at each other. Tell me, look at the smiles. Look at the beautiful smiles on your faces. Holly, I need you to tell me, if you care to share with me, what was that like for you, being Gabby? How do you feel different in your understanding?
Well, I can't imagine the guilt of feeling upset and sad, but there's something else that I was thinking of that she hasn't mentioned at all.
Tell me.
Pain. I can't imagine the pain that you're going through. And that's what I kept thinking of when I was going and when I was feeling I was inside of you. Wow. I'm not in any pain, but you are. And you never complain about it. And I'm just like, I would think, are you in pain?
Yeah. Most days. Some days are better than others, but there's no point in drawing on it. It's not like we can do anything about it, so we just gotta take each day.
Don't you think that might be an example of Gabby trying to maintain your relationship as it used to be?
Yeah. She never did it then.
Yeah.
Not doing it now.
Yeah.
So at least her
Gabby, what was it like being Holly?
Well, now that I'm me again, a little bit of jealousy because she's gonna get to keep living, but mostly just scared. A lot of fear. Definitely emotional. Felt very emotional because once I'm gone, I don't have to process anything, and she's gonna have to. So it's a good thing John, because you're probably gonna need to keep seeing him after.
Yep, I hope that's okay.
It's fine. You two have done amazing work today. You really have. You came in here and your body language was different and your attitudes were different and your was different. The air about you was different. And I'm looking at the two of you now and your body language is so much more relaxed and you're calm and you're looking very centered. And Holly, I have to say, you're looking so much more relaxed than when you came in. You feeling better?
Yeah,
Good.
I am, thank you.
So I'm going to give you the sheet on the listen
Yes.
so that you can work on this a little bit more. And what I really want you to do is when you're at home, sure, you can have those big conversations and you can have the sheets, but I think it's important too that when you're talking, and specifically when Gabby's talking about things that pertain to her diagnosis, because you're going to be taking her to doctor's appointments and there's going to be pain management and there's going to be scans and there's going to be chemo and there's going to be all of these things should she choose the chemo. And that listening and identifying and validating and empathizing is going to be so important. It doesn't have to be a big formal thing, but even inside, to remember that she's not trying to undo you, she's trying to maintain as much of you two as she can in the time that she has.
Yeah, I didn't really think of it that way when she finally, I mentioned about the pain and you don't tell me and you didn't complain.
Well, because I try to listen to what you're saying too. I mean, and that's probably why, because I don't want you to be weighed down by all of it. You're already doing so much. Why am I going to sit around and make you feel, bad for me? You already know what I'm going through. You're there every day.
I think too, as brave as you're being, as much as you want to not weigh her down with all of this, same thing for you. When she expresses that frustration and she's maybe complaining, you see it as a little bit of complaining because you're not going out and doing things and you can see the disappointment, that it's important for you to try to remember what it was like to be inside of her space and those feelings and really listening to her and identifying that it's coming from that place of fear and from that place of concern and from that place of sadness, and validate that. I understand, hon, but maybe we can try this instead. And then empathizing and really using this as a tool to keep that connection as clear as possible, because the one thing that we don't want at the end of all of this, Gabby, and you've said this before when we were talking about the potential for your diagnosis, is you don't want to regret your life and you don't want to regret the wasted time. And I think that it may not be skydiving and it may not be, reef diving, and it may not be all of these fantastic vacations in places that you've gone. But I strongly suspect that with the two of you, those vacations and those jumps and those dives wouldn't have meant a thing if you weren't there for each other, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
So that's the place I think that as this journey continues, that we revisit, that we add to, and that we build another space.
Before we leave today, I know last week we talked a little bit about ways that maybe we can, or ideas on how Holly and I can maybe get on the same page of activities that we can do that maybe aren't a little too much or too little. Do you have any recommendations?
I do. I would like you,
For homework.
for homework, yeah, you're
I love when you give me homework.
I'd like you to sit down together tonight, maybe over some bland hospital food, just liven it up a little bit. And little pieces of paper, right? Post-it notes or cut up index cards, and brainstorm things you can do together, right? Every time a Real Housewife has drama, we have a drink.
Ah.
Or
So all night long.
Like a Jello shot?
or we read the same book so that we can have a discussion about it. Or we go shopping for a bedspread that's going to make me happy. Or let's plan on redecorating. So things you can do together to bring in that sense of new, things you've never done before, but not necessarily for all of that,
Okay.
for all of the action,
Okay.
things that are manageable. And then when you're home together once a night, twice a week, on your date nights, maybe you can order some food in, some food you've never tried before, some old favorites, right? The first meal you had together. You pull a card from the pile or from the bowl or wherever you're pulling, and that's your activity. But they're activities that you've created together and activities you can do together.
Okay.
You with
That's
me?
a good idea.
That
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
really good and fun.
Yeah. Really different.
So
than we don't usually do.
I know I'm supposed to see you in 4 days because you had talked about coming twice a week now as things ramp up.
Yeah.
Holly, are you coming back next session?
Yeah.
Can that be okay?
That's
Can I
fine.
check in with both of you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
Holly, I want to thank you, not only for coming to the session, but for being so willing to participate. I know that life is getting hard. I know it is. And I can't imagine how hard it must feel. And I can't imagine exactly what you're going through, but what I can do is try to help you remember how much Gabby appreciates you, how much Gabby loves you, and how much you love and appreciate her. So that the time you have left together can still have that meaning that you're looking for. Yeah? Will I see you on Saturday?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.